What is up, guys? We are here with the 10th shelf of my sci-fi horror collection. We are starting off with The Matrix Revisited. This is a 2-hour documentary that goes deep into the making of the Matrix trilogy. I absolutely love this documentary. This is probably one of the best documentaries about the making of a movie that I've ever seen. The second best one would probably be Inferno, the making of the Expendables. That's a special feature on the Expendables Blu-rays. But this was obviously before they had the capacity to store a documentary this long on a movie. Not to mention these days they barely put any special features on anything anymore. So this is definitely a keeper, and if you're really into this series, definitely need to check this out. Then, of course, we have The Matrix, a must-have for any serious sci-fi movie collector. I'm definitely going to have to upgrade these movies to 4K eventually here. Comments down below if you know what the 4K transfer is like for these movies. Then, of course, we've got The Matrix Reloaded. I love this movie. You know, a lot of people hated on the two sequels of this movie, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I wish they would have used the twins here more. I guess they were old versions of the agents and the old Matrix or whatever. But definitely a solid movie. And then we got The Matrix Revolutions. I thought this was the perfect end to this trilogy. When they said they were making The Matrix Resurrections, I was on the fence about it, and then I went and saw it, and I had wished they had never made it. It was complete junk. But this one, I liked the ending to this one. I know people hated this movie because it took place more in the real world than it did in The Matrix, but still, it was a very solid movie. Then we have Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Again, another set of movies that is a must-have for any serious sci-fi collector. You know, these are classics, obviously. This was not the best in the series, obviously, but, you know, they all can't be winners, I guess. And then we have Star Wars 2, Attack of the Clones. Out of this trilogy, you know, the first three, I guess you can say, this was my favorite one. I went and saw this in the theater like 6 or 7 times. I just absolutely loved this one for some reason. I guess I liked the grand war epic part of it compared to just the Jedis with lightsabers. And then we have Revenge of the Sith, baby. This is where you see Anakin turn into Darth Vader, which of course everyone was waiting for. Good movie, still better than Episode 1, but I still preferred Episode 2 over this. Then we have the classic, A New Hope. Obviously a very solid movie, very enjoyable. You know, gotta destroy the Death Star. You know, not really anything special you can really say about this movie that hasn't already been said. Then we have Empire Strikes Back. Out of the original 3, this was my least favorite. I thought this one was kind of boring, to be honest with you. But, you know, I'm sure all Star Wars fans want to kill me for saying that, because this is like their baby right here. Then we have Star Wars Return of the Jedi. This one was my favorite of the original trilogy. I just thought it was very fast-paced in the grand scale of the war with the Ewoks and trying to destroy the Death Star, along with Luke Skywalker fighting the Emperor. There was just a lot going on in this movie, and that's why it was just super, super enjoyable. And then we have Star Wars The Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams did it again with this movie. This was a fantastic movie. It stayed true to the original Star Wars. It was better even than the prequel series, in my opinion. Unfortunately, with these movies, this trilogy, I should say, they seem to kill the originals off in the wrong order because, boy, you know, killing Carrie Fisher off at the end when she was already dead, you know, they didn't really do much with Mark Hamill's character. Harrison Ford was the most liked character, I thought, and it kind of lost some luster there when they killed off Han Solo. Comments down below on what you thought of that. Then we have Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone. Solid, funny, somewhat action movie. Obviously not as good as the remake, but, you know, back in the 90s, they weren't trying to make a super serious, movie here. This was more of a comedy kind of thing. So it was okay. Then we have Dredd with Carl Urban. This one was fantastic. I absolutely love this version of this movie. I could watch this over and over again. It was violent. It was dark. A lot of action. You know, and it had a pretty low budget too, from what I understand, which is why I'm surprised they didn't make a sequel. But I would have loved to have seen them make a sequel to this movie and have Sylvester Stallone play the Armada Sante part. I think that would have been absolutely amazing to see, especially with this hard R, super serious action, you know, movie. Oh man, it would have been awesome. Then we have the Terminator. Again, another must-have for any serious sci-fi movie collector. Can never go wrong with the Terminator. This one still holds up to this day. I still go back and watch this probably at least once a year. You know, all the Terminator movies. They just, you know, they just take you to another world, that's for sure. And then, of course, we've got everyone's favorite, Terminator 2, T2. This is a special edition here. You know, you got all these extra special features, which is nice. You know, again, another dying thing they don't do anymore. Wouldn't want to put any extra money or thought into it to make people actually want to buy the movie, right? Then we've got Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. People, for some reason, really hate on this movie, and I don't know why. Christina Loken wasn't the best, I'll give you that. But it was still a very solid movie. I enjoyed it very much. Definitely not the worst in the series. Then we have Terminator Salvation with Christian Bale and Sam Worthington. Again, very solid watch. I thought it was very well done. Kept the same tone. It was actually kind of even darker than the other ones, but it was during the Machine Wars, so that made more sense that it would be more dark. But yeah, it's a solid watch. Then we have Terminator Genesis. I liked this reboot. I liked the idea of making John Connor a Terminator. You know, it was a twist you didn't really see coming. I liked the younger actors and all that stuff, but it just never got off the ground. It was definitely better than Dark Fate, though. Dark Fate was just horrible. I absolutely hated Dark Fate. Then we have Resident Evil. You know, very underrated sci-fi action movie. A lot of action, a lot of violence. You know, this is one of my go-to horror sci-fi series. If I want to watch like a whole bunch of movies in a row, this is my go-to right here. Then, of course, you got to have Resident Evil Apocalypse. I thought this was better than the first one. This is actually one of my more favorite Resident Evil movies right here. Then we have Resident Evil Extinction, which was also very well done. After this point is when they start to get a little iffy for me after this one. Got Resident Evil Afterlife, where there was absolutely zero story to this movie. You could have eliminated this movie from the series and it wouldn't have mattered. You didn't miss anything. So, I mean, this was more of a money grab, it seemed. And then, of course, we got Resident Evil Retribution, which was actually a pretty solid movie. But again, you know, storyline-wise, action-wise, this was great. Storyline-wise, not so much. You could have probably eliminated this movie from the series as well and not missed a beat. I do like this steelbook, though. It's a really nice steelbook. And then lastly, we have Bruce Willis and Surrogates, one of the few last movies that he had that was released in theaters, from the maker of Terminator Rise of the Machines, Jonathan Mostow. I like this movie. It's a sci-fi movie. Bruce Willis does a great job in it. It just didn't do very good in the theaters for some reason, but still a very solid watch. But that will do it for this shelf of my horror and sci-fi movies. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Your support is much appreciated. I'm also on Letterboxd. The link to that is over in the profile of this channel. Otherwise, until next time, guys.